Subscribe because it is free.
The dead zone loomed like a wound across the galaxy, swallowing entire fleets without warning. Sensor arrays flickered, recording only static, an empty void where once proud armadas sailed. 30 fleets vanished. Zolvonian war cruisers, triumvirate diplomatic convoys, even the Lakari scientific vessels. None returned. News feeds buzzed with frantic speculation. Analysts warned that no known technology could pierce the zone's shifting anomalies. Yet Earth's answer came not from grand admirals or brilliant scientists, but from a ragtag ship cobbled together with duct tape, optimism, and questionable coffee. The SS Dauntless launched from Earth orbit under a haze of cosmic dust and curious stares. Its hull bore mismatched plates scrounged from abandoned freighters. Its cafeteria, Martini's last laugh, specialized in microwave mishmash and fuel-infused stew, claimed by the chef to fuel both morale and engines. Captain Rhea Santos leaned over the bridge viewport, eyes steady on the void. Behind her, engineer Jamal Reyes adjusted a coolant coupling with a grin. "If this thing blows, I'll haunt your playlist," he joked, tapping a glowing neon conduit that looked perilously close to overload. Pilot Sia and Gwyn ran final flight checks, humming an old Earth chart topper to steady shaky nerves. The ship's AI, Jarvis 2.0, announced cheerfully, hull integrity at 79%. Optimism level adjusted accordingly. No grand proclamations heralded their mission. Only the steady hum of thrusters and the blinking of red warning lights. Across human space, children mimicked the Dauntless at playgrounds, cardboard laser pistols in hand, daring gravity to treat them kindly. Alien broadcasters labeled them glorious fools, a cosmic sideshow destined for oblivion. Billionaire patron Celia Crazy Star Monroe had bankrolled a venture, declaring that if the Dauntless failed, at least her succulents would receive extra coffee shipments. She live-streamed pre-launch pep talks, offering viewers a front-row seat to potential self-inflicted galactic chaos. Inside the cramped bridge, Dr. Lucia Patel input sensor readings into a jury-rig scanner. "Dead zone distortions are off the charts," she reported, voice crisp despite trembling fingers. "No known metric can predict its trajectory. All algorithms fail." Captain Rhea nodded once, then tapped the comm link. "All hands, brace for hyperjump." Automation clacked. Jamal ducked as a loose panel rattled overhead, spilling a handful of tools. "Would you look at that? We're losing screws before entering the void." His dry humor cut tension, reminding everyone that laughter often outlasted fear. Sia's voice came alive over intercom. "Hyperjump drive is online. Coordinates locked." A countdown began. 3, 2, 1. A pulse of blue-white energy shuddered through the Dauntless, tearing them from safe space into maw the dead zone. Alarms shrieked. Radar scrambled, gravity warped, and reality seemed to hiccup. Jarvis chirped. Radiation spike detected. Suggests listening to upbeat music. Sia punched a button, and through the crackle, an old Earth pop anthem blared. The juxtaposition of cheerful chords against alarms transformed panic into shared defiance. As the Dauntless plunged deeper, fragments of previous victims drifted by, hulking wrecks frozen in eternal drift. Dr. Patel's eyes widened. "Look at those power signatures. The zone's not random. It's an organism, devouring matter to feed its core." The crew exchanged determined glances. They possessed no grand fleets or flawless tech. Only human stubbornness and humor in the face of certain doom. In that moment, they became more than a ship. They embodied the relentless spirit that refused to bow. Their gamble had begun, and whatever lay ahead, they would meet it head-on, grinning, joking, and utterly human. A sudden lurch rattled the Dauntless as they broke free of the hyperjump's final tremor, only to be greeted by a silent graveyard of twisted starship carcasses. Pilot Sia and Gwyn wrestled the controls to maintain steady thrust, voice calm but alert. "We're entering a debris field. Optical sensors are registering kilometer-wide hull fragments, drifting at unknown velocities." Engineer Jamal Reyes gripped a console rail, eyes scanning erratic readings. "My fancy coolant gel's glowing brighter than my future if this thing breaks," he quipped, routing power to the shields as jagged metal shards loomed. The lights flickered under immense strain, and the AI's tone turned unusually serious. Hull integrity dropping to 62%. Recommend evasive maneuvers now. Sia yanked the yoke, swiveling the ship in a tight arc. The entire hull groaned, but they slipped through the worst of it, debris grazing the outer plating with sparks that fizzled like dying fireworks. Dr. Lucia Patel peered at sensor readouts projected on a cracked hollow pad. Radiation flux here is unprecedented. It's as though the zone ingests energy, then burps out random pulses. She tapped her fingers thoughtfully, then pushed aside her glasses. We need to find a stable corridor or we'll be rerouted into a gravity eddy. Captain Rhea Santos leaned forward, one hand on the railing. Fly us toward that gap at Sector 7-2. If my calculations are right, the eddy's edge might be weaker there. The crew exchanged determined nods. Without waiting for confirmation, Sia angled the Dauntless, weaving through cascading wreckage. Jarvis 2.0 chirped. Incoming antimatter surge detected. Probability of survival, less than 10%. Jamal grinned over his shoulder. 10% is a solid score. Let's show them what human tenacity looks like. Reaching the edge of the eddy felt like hitting a wall of invisible turbulence. Gravity twisted around them, pulling the ship as though the zone itself had claws. Consoles shuddered and warnings blared. Structural stress critical. Jamal darted along the corridor, wrenching open a maintenance panel to redirect auxiliary power to the quantum thrusters. He muttered, "If I fry this circuit, at least no one can blame me for lack of effort." Sparks erupted in his face guard, but he tapped in a rapid override code. The thrusters roared, resisting the eddy's pull enough to push the Dauntless sideways. Sia strained against the controls, voice clipped but focused. Hold stability. We're punching through. With an ear-splitting roar, the ship shot out of the eddy's maw, hull plating groaning as pressure eased. A collective exhale filled the bridge, and Dr. Patel pressed a hand to her chest. It's working, partial success, but we've drawn attention. What emerged was a swirling expanse of dark energy currents rippling outward, like the concentric ripples from a cosmic stone dropped in a silent pond. Sensor blips revealed strange antenna-like structures embedded in drifting wreckage, as if something had hooked each ship before consuming it. Those might be how the zone latches onto vessels, Dr. Patel whispered, eyes scanning the data. Captain Rhea's gaze hardened. Prepare a probe with our prime-coded pulse generator. We need to test if the zone responds differently to human improvisation. Jamal assembled a makeshift device, a jury-rigged transmitter cobbled from spare parts and half-burned circuitry. He quipped, less elegant than alien tech, but I guarantee it'll confuse whatever's out there. Jarvis added, transmitting prime sequence now. Suggest tuning to a cheerful beat for maximum effect. Sia rolled her eyes but tapped a command, unleashing the pulse. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the current stilled, as if the zone itself paused to listen. A towering silhouette emerged from the darkness, an obsidian monolith ringed with flickering runes, hovering amidst debris. Its presence radiated a low-frequency hum that rattled internal organs. The bridge went silent. Identify yourself, came a resonant, telepathic voice that filled every mind. Captain Rhea stood firm. We are humans, seekers of knowledge, not conquerors. We wish to understand your purpose. The monolith's runes pulsed, analyzing their sincerity. Engineer Jamal whispered to Sia, if this thing tries to eat us, I'll tell him to save me for dessert. Sia stifled a laugh, but her hands never faltered on the controls. Dr. Patel, face illuminated by her hollow pad, noted, it's processing our intentions. The pattern recognition suggests respect. The monolith's voice softened. Your species' creativity resonates with us. You may pass. Relief flooded the bridge as the currents receded, revealing a clear path back to known space. Captain Rhea let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Plot a course home. The Dauntless responded with eager beeps, engines thrumming as they headed away from the zone's heart. Laughter and cheers broke out, melded with Rhea's calm voice. Let's get coffee once we land. In the wake of cosmic terror, humanity's spirit remained unbroken, and somehow improbably victorious. Hull plating groaned beneath the strain as the Dauntless drifted deeper into distorted currents. Emergency lights cast the bridge in strobing crimson, and the air smelled of burnt circuitry. Consoles flickered with warnings, Quantum drive overload, radiation spike imminent, hull breach detected. Yet the crew pressed on. Captain Rhea Santos stood at the viewport, eyes narrowed as streaks of sickly green radiation smeared across space like spilled paint. She didn't hesitate. Maintain speed and keep shields at maximum. We need data on these currents before moving to the core. Engineer Jamal Reyes wasted no time rerouting power. He slid out from under a panel, sparks fizzing at his boots. I'm betting these engines hate me, but if we don't throttle up, we'll end up pancake size on first grav wave. He twisted a cobalt valve until pipes hissed and the hum of the reactor deepened. Pilot Cian Gwyn keyed in a series of evasive commands as a new threat materialized, massive tendrils of dark energy coiling around drifting wreckage. The tendrils pulse in time with faint bursts of psychic static, an ever-present heartbeat of the zone. Shield modulation at 30%, energy siphoning. Reported Jarvis 2.0 in its unervingly chipper tone. The AI's suggestion to play elevator music was ignored. Instead, Dr. Lucia Patel keyed in theoretical models to plot a path around the tendrils. Their pattern matches a sinusoidal wave, but irregular. If we time our thrust, we can slip through, she explained, voice calm despite the corrosive radiation seeping through her sensors. Just like threading a needle, except the needle's made of antimatter. Navigating the tendrils felt like steering through a cosmic spiderweb. Sia's knuckles turned white on the controls as she spiraled the Dauntless through narrow corridors of empty space. Each near-miss sent jolts through the hull, accompanied by the shriek of metal under tension. Jamal leaned over a console. Remember that dance routine you practiced? Might have come in handy now. Move with the waves, not against them. Sia cracked a grin, despite the gravity. I'd rather dance on a star than get eaten by one. The ship jolted as a tendril whipped past, tearing a chunk from the port side plating. Sparks rained down like fireworks, and the light snapped to emergency mode. A groan rippled through the crew, but their resolve hardened. Suddenly, the Dauntless felt a massive tug, an unseen force pulling them toward a yawning rupture in space, a shattered seam of phosphorescent filaments. Dr. Patel's alarms blared. Spatial stability failing. We risk being torn apart at the molecular level. Captain Rhea barked orders. Jamal, reroute coolant to the magnetic stabilizers. Sia, fire lateral thrusters on my mark. Jamal darted from station to station, adjusting conduits and whispering encouragement to circuits that protested loudly. Sia counted down, 3, 2, 1, and fired the thrusters in unison. The Dauntless quaked, twisting away from the rupture by mere meters. Smoke trailed from an overloaded reactor coil, but the hull held. Jarvis 2.0 quipped, emotion detected. Exhilaration. Recommend a group high five. Jamal slapped Sia's shoulder. We're still alive. Take that, cosmic vortex. But no relief came. As they cleared the rupture's edge, a colossal wave of energy, like a tsunami of violet light, rushed toward them. The ship shuddered violently. Shields collapsed under barrage. Shield integrity at 12%, Jarvis warned, and the bridge filled with the stench of ozone. Captain Rhea's voice cut through the chaos. Deploy the pulse generator. Now. Science Officer Patel keyed in coordinates. Jamal yanked open a hatch to launch the jury-rigged device into the void. It drifted, cables trailing, a fragile beacon in the maelstrom. Moments later, the generator detonated its prime-coded broadcast. A resonance shivered through space. The violet wave faltered, dissipating like fog under sunlight. The Dauntless rocked but remained intact. Gray haze cleared to reveal a hushed calm. Those tendrils that had threatened to crush them now recoiled, as though afraid of the human signal. On the view screen, distant wrecks and spectral energies seemed to shift, granting a narrow corridor deeper toward the core. Captain Rhea exhaled slowly. Set course. We're going in. The Dauntless engines flared to life, battered but unbowed. Each twist of the controls, each spark of ingenuity, each wry joke shared under duress. This was humanity's triumph against the dead zone's indifference. As the ship surged onward, the crew braced for what lay ahead, convinced that whatever darkness waited, humans would meet it with laughter, stubbornness, and an unbreakable will. Silence greeted the Dauntless as it entered the heart of the dead zone, Hull battered, but systems humming their strained defiance. In front of them loomed an immense monolith, its smooth obsidian surface rippling with silent energy that hummed like distant thunder. The runes etched along its sides pulsed in haunting cadence, as though breathing. Captain Rhea Santos stood at the bridge viewport, eyes unwavering. She keyed her comms. "Jarvis, open frequency. Let's see if this thing wants to talk." The AI chirped, channel open, awaiting instructions for diplomatic approach or epic one-liner. Engineer Jamal, Reyes leaned forward, tapping inert controls. "I vote we start with, 'Hello, Big Angry Rock. Mind telling us what's for dinner?'" Sia and Gwen rolled her eyes, but keyed in a prime number sequence they'd modified with human twist, embedding a fragment of old Earth jazz in the signal. The monolith's runes brightened, as though it recognized both logic and the absurdity of jazz in a death trap. A resonance thrummed through the ship, rattling consoles. Then, a telepathic voice echoed in each mind. "Why do you intrude?" It was neither male nor female, but a chorus of ancient echoes layered atop itself. Captain Rhea spoke coolly. "We're not here to invade. We seek to understand why the dead zone devours life. Our species values knowledge and laughter, sometimes in that order." The monolith's runes ebbed and flowed, as if processing sincerity. Dr. Lucia Patel, monitoring energy flux, detected a shift. The monolith reacted to their jazz-inflected primes, recognizing creativity beyond sterile code. "It's analyzing our intentions," she murmured. "Your humor resonates. It sees humanity's singular spark." Jamal grinned broadly. "Take that, logic-powered doom machine." The monolith's energy ripples retreated, revealing a narrow corridor of calm space ahead. Its voice resonated again. "Prove your comprehension. Show me your worth." Captain Rhea exchanged a look with her crew. No weapons remained. What they had was ingenuity and unity. Sensor readouts displayed swirling glyphs, a puzzle waiting to be solved. Dr. Patel's fingers flew across her hollow keyboard as she decoded the runic pattern, a sequence of mathematical harmonics. She realized that the monolith sought a genuine human offering, a tribute of creativity. Scrambling, she inputted a fractal algorithm laced with a snippet of human DNA code, an echo of their biology encoded as numerical art. The ship quaked as the glyphs responded, rearranging into a blossoming fractal that extended outward like solar petals. The monolith's voice softened. "You have shown understanding and creativity. The dead zone's purpose is to protect knowledge too dangerous for reckless species. Your willingness to blend humor, art, and intellect merits passage." With that, gravitational distortion subsided, and a stable pathway opened. The dauntless hull photons turned warm, as though the zone itself offered gentle permission to leave. Jubilation erupted on the bridge. Sia let out a whoop, and Jamal pumped a fist. Captain Rhea allowed herself a small smile before commanding, "Set course for Terra Nova. We carry proof that even in the void, humanity's spark can illuminate darkness." The engines roared as the Dauntless slipped out, emerging into familiar star patterns dripping with relief. Holocom channels lit up across allied worlds. Humans had returned, undefeated and bizarrely triumphant. News feeds celebrated their return with parades, while alien admirals scratched heads over reports of prime number jazz concerts. Debriefs revealed that the monolith, now known as the Custodian, broadcast a galactic message honoring human ingenuity. Sia cracked. "Guess we're the universe's favorite improv troupe." Engineer Jamal added, "And they say duct tape and jazz don't save lives." As they approached home, Captain Rhea leaned back, eyes soft with exhaustion and pride. "We're human," she said quietly. "We joke when things get dark because laughter keeps us alive long enough to find the light." The crew chuckled, eyes reflecting distant suns. The Dauntless glided toward the blue glow of Earth, carried with a legend that no void, however deadly, can swallow a species willing to laugh in its face and prove worth with creativity and courage.